Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Good morning, great dear friends and lovers of freedom all over the world. And this is Radio Biafra, Voice of the Coast. Good morning, depending on where you're listening to us, 17 a.m. in the Holy Land of Biafra. We must Abba Father, winging and away your Gonomo Kirimo Temedao, the one who made the heavens and the earth, to man and who gave life to us all. Lord, we thank you, we praise you, we worship you. For you are holy and you are great. Glory, glory, glory unto your holy name. We worship you. We worship you for the land of Biafra. I've been separated for people to worship you. God has been corrupt, but the holy land of Biafra has been separated for this time and this age. Lord, we worship you. Lord, we thank you. And we shall continue to worship you in the holy land of Biafra. And because of this, Biafra shall be restored in our time. that men and women shall continue to worship and praise your holy name. Father, we thank you for you have kept the life of our leader, and we ask that you continue to keep him safe and sound wherever he is in DSS dungeon, and his body will be sound. Also, we want to pray for all of our people that they will be sound in mind, focused, and resilient, that they will not draw back and they will not be discouraged, neither will they be dismayed, neither will they be distracted, neither will they experience anything that will make them to shift their eyes from this holy movement to restore the holy land of Biafra. Once again, especially we pray for our men in the bush, those that are sacrificing their all and doing all that is necessary to see to it that our people are safe and sound, and that Biafra is restored, that the land is freed of every form of terrorism, that all those that seek to terrorize our people shall not live to tell the story. Oh Lord, we ask that you continue to help them. We ask that you continue to protect them and guide them. That at any point in time they encounter our enemies shall see the strength of God in them. In your name, in your holy name. In the name of Chukukika Biama, Elohim, Ayiba, Abasi, Ise, more power. Today we shall be talking about a topic I titled Stability and Focus is the Foundation of Success. You know, my duty here I am a natural teacher. Elohim called me to teach in this struggle. I am a student of the Spirit. Elohim teaches me things that Elohim takes me through series of lectures. I can confidently say that of course, I read books, I'm exposed to certain books that I've read in the past and exposed to certain oral education, oral history, and aged men with long those that have gone and those that are still alive, breathing. So most of this we get it from different places, but it is Elohim by his Spirit that guide so that we can be able to teach the people of Biafra. So I am a teacher, and today I will be teaching as well. Stability and focus. How far we've got is because of stability and focus. The much success we've gotten in this struggle is as a result of stability and focus. If you are not focused, you will not be able to have success, because life itself is a challenge, and life throws at you series of challenges, most especially when you have a huge task ahead of you, a huge task as it has to do with the restoration of Biafra. So much task ahead of us. Powerful enemies. You know, you must never underrate the strength of your enemies. From the day you begin to underrate the strength of your enemies, that is the day you begin to fail. You begin to fail when you begin to underrate the strength of your enemies. Even if you feel your enemies are weak, it is even better that you even think more of your enemies than they are, so that you can prepare more than they can ever offer. But when you have too much confidence, you underrate them, then you'll be thrown into the dish. So you must never underrate the strength of your enemies. And right now, the enemies that we face are enormous. And we as Biafrans, we must never forget that. We are facing the zoo first and foremost, directly. The zoo is, quote unquote, a sovereign contraption. I can't stand it to call them a country. It's a sovereign contraption, recognized all over the world. They can do business formally. They can engage in anything. They can borrow. They can borrow for war. They can do anything, because every country in the world recognizes them as a country. They have all the structures. They have military. They control our land, our resources. They influence our people with our own money. They have it all. So you must never underrate them. The zoo still have Britain. Even though Britain might want to shy away from it, but that is the truth. And Britain have allies. Every ally of Britain wouldn't want to get involved with things that have to do with Britain, except Britain begin to go against the zoo called Nigeria. Then the allies of Britain can begin to speak up. That is why those countries that you know that are known allies of Britain not to get involved. So Britain and her allies are still behind. Know that we have the zoo, that to contend with allies of the zoo or the allies of Britain, because the zoo is actually a British property. So the allies of Britain, we still have them to contend with indirectly. We don't have any problem with them. It is not our business. We understand how this world functions. This world functions by interest. This world functions by interest. And we understand that. We understand how this world functions. Okay? It functions by interest. It's all about interest. This world is all about interest. And we know that the zoo is a property of Britain, and Britain is not ready to relinquish that power. Or we do not have problem with the zoo being the property of Britain, but we no longer okay with that business of them owning our lands. They can have the rest of the zoo for all we care, but not Biafra land. Biafra land can no longer be the property of Britain. Britain must know that. The zoo, including Biafra land, as a property is over. Britain must recognize that. Of protectorates and all of that, 100 years. When they signed all the protectorates out of the zoo and the north of the zoo called Nigeria together, and you call them Nigeria, the southern protectorate is British protectorate of the south, British protectorate of the north, and you brought them together, and this thing that you did, you said it was going to last for 100 years. You did that in 1914 with the help of the prostitute Flora Shaw and her customer Lugard. You did that and said it was going to last for 100 years, making it 2014, making it 100 years. That means that the quote-unquote Buhari administration is not supposed to be. The Buhari administration that is running now is a crime. It's a criminal administration. Maybe, just maybe, the national, the Goodluck Jonathan administration would have made any sense. Have covered up for of the zoo called Nigeria. But the Buhari administration came and said, no, we can accept such documents. So when you can accept such documents that people has come together to agree, even though they were forced, okay, even though they were forced not to discuss that particular, their separate ways, even though they were forced, and they were forced to say, okay, we must live together, but how? We must live together, which means they have removed one part. They said we must live together, but how? They now found a way, one way or the other, even though it's not so very satisfactory to the Biafran people, but at least they found a way that could be, maybe, of course, even that way that they found was not accepted. It was thrown into the dish. So how else do you expect us to live? It is impossible. We cannot live together. It is impossible. Practically impossible. We cannot live together. That thing expired 2014. And this is 2021. That is 7 years ago. 7 years ago, the creation of Nigeria has expired. In China, You see, this is one thing with black people that Britain had with China concerning Hong Kong when it expired. Britain still wanted to stay. They didn't want to leave. You see, these guys can be very, very dangerous criminals. They didn't want to leave. The Chinese forced them out. They brought out the documents and said, "This is the document. Your 100 years rule of Hong Kong is over. You must submit sovereignty back to China." And the Chinese stood by it, and Britain could no longer fight. They tried all their manipulations as they usually do, but it couldn't hold water. They could no longer fight, and they had to give it up. Same thing, Britain must give up the land of Biafra to Biafrans. Your 100 years of slavery has expired. You must free our people. It is very easy. What we're calling for is a referendum. You must free our people. The time has come where you must free our people. Our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, is a British citizen. Our leader, the zoo called Nigeria that he created by Britain, holding a British citizen, and yet Britain is doing nothing because probably Britain have a hand in what is going on with our leader. If Britain do not have a hand, Britain should press on Nigerian government to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. You see, when people want to play games, they will go behind and be instigating and say, "Do not release that man. Anyhow, just keep him." Then they will come out and say, "Oh, we don't know what is happening. No. Hey, we don't know." However, they are treating him. Why are they like that? Or they just shut their mouths and behave as if they are not aware of anything that is going on. They shut their mouths and behave like they are not aware of what is going on. So I must tell Biafrans that for us to have, we have been having all the while our leader was out and running this thing and talking to us on radio consistently, is our strength has been our stability, and we have been focused, hitting hard on the enemy, bit by bit by bit by bit. One of the things that can militate against our movement and slow us down is what I call the market spirit. You know, when you bring in market spirits into the struggle, it makes the struggle not to look mature. Market spirits. Oh, where this one is looking for one of his brothers, this one is fighting here. When all these are happening, the enemies are rejoicing. The enemy is rejoicing. Oh, this one, yeah. Oh, this one, yeah. Oh, this. The enemy is rejoicing. This one is there. Oh, this person stole here. Oh, this one is here. This person stole here. Hey, this is what this person is doing. Oh, most of these things are lies. Many of them are lies. When you begin to bring up lies like this, and begin to look for one person to blackmail, one person to frame up, all because you want to project yourself as the good one before the people. You're not helping the struggle. If indeed you actually love the struggle, you actually love the people, you are not helping the struggle. You are not doing well. When maybe you have certain influences and you begin to use your influence and your struggle because, okay, Biafrans have gotten to believe in you, or Biafrans are listening to you, and you have noticed Biafrans are listening to you, you begin to use it to fight against maybe somebody said something that you didn't like. Then you begin to use your influence to want to shut that person up. As a mature person and as somebody that has gotten to the public space, there is something you must be ready for: criticisms. You must be ready for criticisms, because some of these critics are paid by agents of darkness to distract us. That is what they do. Some of these critics are paid by agents of darkness to distract. So if you think you know better, then do better. And stop looking out for those, either those that are maybe criticizing you and all of that. When you do better, Biafrans will see that you're doing better. If you think the center is corrupt, whatever, and you think you have some influence, you can do better, go ahead and do better. Stop talking and talking and talking. It is not the talk that will give us Biafra. It is the doing that will give us Biafra. The success we've made has come from our doings. The success we've made has come from our doings. Yes, it is directed to the enemy. Our talk has done a whole lot. When directed to the enemy, it has done a whole lot in pushing us to the next level in this movement. But our talks directed to ourselves, of course, there is a time. There are some people that are dangerous, and they come up trying to create some kind of orientation amongst our people. It is good you address them. You can keep addressing them, but you don't put your energies there. Address them at least 10% on the enemy. That is how you remain focused, and that is how you treat saboteurs and put them in their place. But when you begin to give saboteurs 90% and give the enemy 10%, then there is a problem somewhere. You can't give saboteurs 90% or even 80 or even 50, because they are nothing. They are distractors. The struggle is the goal. They are not the goal. They are not the goal. So market spirit is that spirit that always look for a fight somewhere. Always look for one thing or the other to talk about somebody within the struggle, somebody somewhere, just to talk about somebody. Is the market spirit. Hey, this person did this. Hey, this person did this. This one did that. The market spirit. There is nothing you can get out of it. That's why sometimes our leader talks about gossip. That is why in this struggle, I do not care about gossip. If you come tell me about this person, I'll just be looking at you. If you come tell me about this other person, okay. But I'll only be looking at you. I'm looking for the things that you're doing right for this struggle. It's not about what you're telling me about other people. You, what are the things you're doing right to push this struggle forward? That is how I judge you. I don't judge people by what they tell me about other people. That's good or somebody's bad. Whether you praise somebody or you paint the person bad towards me, it gives me no opinion about you. Be on serious, because I know naturally if somebody offend you, you can express yourself, or you think somebody is doing wrong, you can express yourself. But until you begin to do things right for the struggle, that is where I give you my respect. And that is how we are supposed to handle things. That is how we are supposed to reason. And that is how we keep people in check. Put them where they belong. And we must beware of market spirits. Watch yourself. Whether you are for or against, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you don't begin to exhibit those forms of market spirits. Some of you, you know, okay, you are in the structure of IPOB. You are in IPOB. You are in the structure. You are in our structure. But you go outside, you bring things, and you know that within that structure, not everybody likes what you are going outside to get. But you want to bring it within our platforms so that people begin to argue and begin to fight among themselves. You have the market spirit. We don't like it. You begin to defend it, market spirit. And people begin to argue, hey, market spirit. Market spirit. Whatever you want to listen to it there. Don't bring it to where it will become a topic of confusion or a topic of argument. That is market spirit. You must be aware of it. You must beware of market spirits. Keep whatever you listen, wherever it is. We don't care. We have a mission to follow. Our mission is bring down the zoo. If you want to gather those of you that like listening to a particular, you gather them and you post whatever you post there, and people will not complain because every one of you accept it. That is your business. But where you bring it where there will be people that do not like such things, then you have market spirits, and it is a problem. You are a distraction. A distraction indeed. Now, what is noise? Another problem is noise. You know, noise have its place, and I will explain. Noise is something that noise can be in the somebody can use noise even in the market spirit and outside. Like for instance, there are certain things like what enlightening the world that Buhari is dead. Okay, what we do, we to a very great extent we know that the world is compromised. Okay, the world is compromised. The zoo politicians are compromised. When our leader started it, it was actually a strategy. Probably, maybe thinking that some people will take it seriously and begin to act on it. But obviously, the people do not care whether the man is dead or the man is not dead. They don't care. Nobody's ready for that sacrifice in the zoo because they are foolish. They don't ask questions. They don't care. In fact, many of them were saying it's not true. But now everybody knows it is true. So sometimes when we still hit on it, okay, when we remain consistent and hit on it, because it is not achieving any particular purpose, it is noise. But that noise, it's kind of not achieving any particular purpose, but on the long run, such noise achieves a purpose. And what is the purpose? It makes the world to know that we are not fools like the rest of the people in the zoo. That we are aware and we cannot be fooled. So when we keep hitting on that and telling the world that we know that this man is dead and what they have there is somebody wearing mask of his face. It is noise, but it is noise in the right direction. Somebody bring up certain things that have nothing to do with the struggle and just begin to talk and blab without having any plan on ground to do anything. That is noise. And some of this noise do not particularly help. When you do more and you talk, go a very, very long way. Like when our leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu unleashed ESN, there was no noise about it. Nobody heard about it until ESN came out and they were like, "Oh, so you mean these people have this much number of men? Wow, we never knew." That is it. That is the work, not noise. When you want to do serious thing, noise is meant for noise is more or less what they call propaganda. Okay, so propaganda, somehow some people will say that it is not true, but most of what we do here is the truth. We don't frame things up and tell lies and all of that. What we say on Radio Biafra is the truth. Okay, but they use noise, then it is going to be affecting the movement adversely. So most especially those of us that have certain number of followership on social media and everything, you must understand these basics. You must understand where noise is needed and where noise is not. Some people come up and begin to tell false stories about individuals. Those are noise. Those are noise used in the marketplace. You know, one thing about the marketplace is that it's noisy. The marketplace is very much noisy. And such noise are not needed. Sometimes the question is, do you need it? Does the struggle need it? Will that help the struggle, or to distract people from facing the enemy? Those are certain questions you ask yourself before you go about making noise. These are certain very, very pertinent questions that you must ask yourself. For us to bring this zoo to a standstill, we must be consistent in all the attacks that we give. Give an attack, stay on it, consistent, increase by another one, we keep hitting on the target, weak, and it will collapse. But when you relax, the zoo will be recuperating, like they are doing now, recuperating. And all they do is send soldiers. We know how the zoo operates. All they want to do is to weaken your resolve. They want to weaken your resolve. That is the reason when they get an opportunity to to do is to rape them, to weaken their resolve, to demoralize them. That is why when these terrorists come to our land, what they do is to look for our mothers and our sisters and our daughters to rape them. Because a family where their sister is raped, there is this kind of trauma. It is not only the lady that suffers it. So when they come to a community and rape scores of women, they want to bring that trauma. So these are the strategies of the zoo, so that trauma will last. And when you remember how these people were able to come to your land, oppress you and rape, you will not want such a thing to happen again. So you will not talk. All they want to do is to shut you up. All they want to do is to close your mouth. You will not be able to talk. They do, we keep talking, we keep pushing, and we keep doing. And that is why the zoo will crumble at our feet. Biafra will surely come. Our leader will surely be released. But the fact is, we must do what we must do at the time that we must do them. Because if you postpone what you have to do, then you may not know, you might just be postponing the restoration of Biafra. But the fact is that Biafra will come. But the question is when. When will Biafra come depends on the efforts that each one of us puts. Because it is one person plus another one person that make up the whole worldwide movement of the indigenous people of Biafra. So your individual contribution matters a lot. In whatever capacity that you're contributing this contribution, your individual contribution, a whole lot, it matters. And you must be conscious of it. You must never take it lightly. Yes, you must never take it lightly. Your contribution matters a lot. Never look at yourself like you are not enough. No, you are. But the most important thing is that you follow instructions. As instructions come from the top, you follow instructions. Our strength is our oneness. Our strength is in the following of instructions. That doesn't mean we will not ask questions. It doesn't mean that because we follow instructions, we won't ask questions. And anybody that is telling you that you have no right to ask questions, that person is an enemy, irrespective of what status or position that he is in the struggle. We must ask questions, but you must ask the questions adequately at the right time. Questions to people that do not have the answers to. As I am here, I am the African rep, of course, but I do not have all the answers. So there are some questions you cannot ask me. I am not the leader of this movement. I only lead in a particular capacity within a particular space. So there are some places I wouldn't have answers to, or there are some places I wouldn't even have an idea what is going on there. So for instance, you now come to ask me questions, and you know the responsibilities I have. Then you now go to problems happening in certain areas that you know I do not have answers to, or you know I have no influence to influence, or I have no power to influence there. You now begin to ask me sensitive questions over there. Then you're making a mistake. And if I tell you I do not have an answer, you might be, you begin to feel, oh, somebody did not ask a question, or you begin to make noise about it. Then you are wrong. Your questions must go to the direction where it is needed when you want to ask questions. And there are some questions that you ask that you cannot get the answers because the answers are not meant for you. There is not everything you are supposed to know. All these are no, 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 no. I want to know, I want to know. It's not everything you are supposed to know. Stay at the limit of the things you are supposed to know. And it's not everything you know you are supposed to tell. And it is not everybody that you can tell what you know. These are certain basic things that as a freedom fighter you must know. You must know that there are some things that will be done for you that you cannot know why, or not really why, but how it is done. When it is done, you will know why. But how the process you may not really know because we have enemies. And how are you sure that when certain informations get to you, you can keep them to yourself? Because there are some certain things that you will get to know, it will become dangerous for you and also dangerous for the movement. But the people that get to receive these informations and keep them, that is how freedom fighters think. That is how a freedom fighting movement is run. So the fact is, we must make steady our attacks on the enemy until the goal is achieved. Never a time should we wait and let the enemies call the shots. We must make steady our attacks until victory is gotten. Until our leader is out relent. We must never wait. In time you are relenting, the enemies are not sleeping. The enemies are working, giving them, the enemies are recuperating, putting themselves together, giving confidence to their men to go and do more against us. So we must also put ourselves together. We must as well put ourselves together. And we must be very careful. We must be very careful. And not just being careful, we must carefully ensure that we make steady our attacks on the enemy. We must ensure the enemy's strategies to our people and to the rest of the world. We must ensure we make steady the revealing of the enemy's wickedness on the innocent people of our land, to our people and the rest of the world. These are things that we must consistently do. We must never relent in doing these things. Never ever relent. We must never slow down in doing these things. We must ensure that we are consistent in all of these that we do. In our consistency will freedom be gotten. It is in our consistency that freedom will be gotten. So we must be focused We must be very focused. Some people has been unleashed to cause so that we forget our goal. But I will Biafran people forget the goal or never get distracted. I know of many people that is the zoo and the crumbling of the zoo and the evil of the zoo and all of that. But today they write about, because we are not here for people, we are here for Biafra. Must never forget that. Yes, people in their madness and stupidity might want to delay some of the things that we do by distracting our people and getting them to behave in a certain way that might slow disobey instructions from the leadership. But even at that, we must never focus our attention, our energies on these people. Our energy, and at a particular time, the people to distract them and to deceive them. Our energies, as I said, must be focused on why 10% can be given to internal saboteurs, or those that claim to be internal but are external, as the case may be. There are internal, properly, but they are external. However it is, we must be focused. We must never let them to distract us or let them to drag our attention from the, because when distractions come like this to drag your attention from the enemy, continue to do what he's doing. What is the whole interest of the zoo? Is to see to it that nobody is aware calamity doing on our land. They want to the IPOB is the only movement that has educated the world of what is going on our land, the carnage. What is the purpose of the enemy? The purpose of the enemy is to ensure that you shift attention from them and focus on yourselves. Anybody that all he wants you to do is to focus on yourselves. It's you fight you fight you fight you. See, this one is saying our problem is the US. Our problem is this one. They say our problem is this other one. Whether they are here or there, they want you to take sides. When you take sides, you join the gang. This one is fighting here. This one is fighting here. Yeah. When it becomes a marketplace like that, we are now focused on ourselves. Then we are going to forget the enemy. Killing our people. Yes. Is it continuing? Yes. Are they reducing it? No. Are the army still on our land? Yes. Are they picking people? Yes.